It's Emil Guillermo. Emil Amok to you. How are you, everyone? I know sometimes I get so excited, so exuberant because I've been studying to be a laughter yogi. I'm going to be an official laughter yogi in a couple days. I'm feeling excited. See, that's therapeutic. Whether or not I say anything that makes you laugh, if you just laugh for the hell of it anyway, just say, "Oh, there's a Filipino guy," and just laugh. You'll feel better, and I'll feel better. That's the way it works. Anyway, uh, because the mind does not differentiate between real laughter or fake laughter. Or let's not use fake, because fake makes it sound so fake, not real. Uh, between voluntary laughter, which is, okay, I'm going to laugh, versus involuntary laughter, where I say a joke like, why'd the chicken cross the road? And then you laugh, when I say to get to the other side, and say, involuntary laughter. But that's involuntary. Voluntary laughter is, oh, what the hell, I'll laugh. It's not funny, but I'll laugh anyway. It's fake. I mean, it's voluntary. I'm giving up. I'm giving up my laugh guard. But you know what they find, because the brain does not distinguish. The effects of the laughter on your body are real, and the effects of any kind of laughter are beneficial. Did you know that? I mean, as I laugh, and I'm learning this, that if I'm not going to go to the gym and do exercises, every time I laugh is going to be an ab exercise. It is. Every time you laugh is potentially an ab exercise. So you tighten up down there, and you breathe from the diaphragm, and you let it go up, and the air comes up through your body to your head, and even though it's fake, the effects are real. So that's what I'm learning as a laughter yogi. That's why it's important. So it's funny. You're a laughter yogi. So you get a yoga mat too. I do, in fact, when we do exercises on the ground. But most of the time, it's standing. I'm a standing yogi. I love to meditate standing up. Anyway, welcome to the program. Lots to talk about. Going to talk about affirmative action, a story that hit the other day. I did one side of the story where the numbers for Harvard came out, and it's inconclusive. But now the people who won are being sore losers and saying, hey, we're going to sue everybody now, because the numbers of Asian Americans have to go up. Okay, so we'll talk about that. I'm going to talk about Springfield. Some of the things about Springfield no one's talking about. That Springfield, Ohio, not Springfield, Massachusetts, home of basketball, home of Dunkin' Donuts. Springfield, Ohio. I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about death and taxes, all that today on this show. Thank you for tuning in. You found us. This is Emil Amok's Takeout, my takes on all things considerable. Oh, that's a one-legged swish. You need one. And this is our little place to have fun with the human discourse, right? Of just communicating with no one, but communicating in the safe way. This is safe conversations, talking to people about life and the news. As I call myself a news wittic, because I hopefully say witty things about the news. I don't call myself a critic. Critic has bad connotations, but a news wittic, ooh, I analyze the news. I talk about things in hopefully a witty way. And if it's not funny to you, Well, at least if you believe as I do in laughter yoga, you have the you have the health benefits. It's real. It's real. The laughter is fake, but the benefits are real. I learned that as your certified laughter yogi. All right, so where do we start? Let's I'm going to talk about Springfield, and I'm going to talk about it in a new way. In a new way because it's no one talks about Springfield the way I'm going to talk about it with you. And it's going to be posted on the ALDEF website, aaldef.org/. And in fact, it's there now. You can see the whole Springfield, Ohio postcard. Greetings from Springfield. And the piece I wrote is called "The Lies on Dogs, Cats, and Springfield, Ohio May Be Home of the Best White People Egg Rolls in the U.S." Oh, no, make that the Midwest. I mean, the U.S. is so sweeping. And I did say white people egg rolls. White, they're I don't want to make it sound like egg white egg rolls. Oh, only the egg whites, no yolk. No, they're white people egg rolls. Okay, so here's the thing. Everyone knows Springfield, Ohio by now, right? You go down the road, take a right turn at 1965 or maybe 1924. It's a place where people are concerned about any of us or are less concerned about any of us than about the dog and cat population, apparently. Of course, the dogs and cats there are a lot safer than you think. This week, the conservative-leaning Wall Street Journal, and hats off to the Journal. They actually had reporters there who went down to Springfield to check it out. Their reporters definitively debunked the dog and cat slurs as outright lies. WSJ, the Wall Street Journal, verified that the Trump campaign knew the dog and cat rumors were lies on debate night a week ago last Tuesday, and Trump still spread the slurs to the 67 million who watched the debate. That's how many people they estimate, 67 million. Now, put it in perspective. 67 million watched that debate. Only 6.7 million people saw John Leguizamo appeal for diversity on that show on the Emmys on Sunday. 67 million saw the debate. 6.7 saw the Emmys. Now, even J.D. Vance knew the truth before and after the debate, but still continues to lie about cats and dogs to this day. So, when the Trump-Vance campaign is fueled on lies, what does it tell us? It tells us that the facts are irrelevant. If you're a believer in Trump-Vance and all their baloney, said J.D. Vance on Sunday, this past Sunday, if I have to create stories so that the American media actually pays attention to the suffering of the American people, then that's what I'm going to do. See, he's saying, I'm going to lie. You can't stop me. I'm going to lie till the world turns white, till I'm white in the face. You're already white in the face. You can get whiter, J.D. Vance? I'm going to lie, he says. If I have to create stories, that's lying. So the American media actually pays attention to the suffering of the American people. Really, the cat and dog shows the suffering of the American people? Then that's what I'm going to do. In fact, we know there were no cats and dogs eaten by Haitians, taken from American people and then eaten by Haitian migrants. Never happened. It was a lie. But here's the thing. What J.D. Vance said there sounds just like the Hitler playbook, the rule written by Joseph Goebbels. Repeat a lie often enough and it becomes the truth. And so that's kind of the strategy of Trump Vance. Repeat the lies often enough, even have a newspaper like the Wall Street Journal just debunk the idea, and it becomes the truth. But here's the truth that you should know. No dogs and cats were harmed in this story ever. Only the credibility of politicians. That is, if you believe credibility is still important, and I hope you do. So that's part one of the story. You got to know that they really are lies. This idea of cats and dogs being eaten by Haitian migrants. I know you thought, oh, Emil's not talking about it because he's maybe upset that the Haitians are horning into an Asian thing here. Because all we know that Asians are the ones that eat dog, right? The Filipinos were brought to America to showcase their dog eating skills. They were called dog eaters. And then later on, Chinese, Koreans, they were all like horning in on the eating of dog. Well, no. I'm going to say that for another time. I'm just upset by the lies of the Trump Vance team. They know it never happened. Wall Street Journal said it never happened. You need to know that first and foremost. Now, Asians in Springfield. As I am talking now, I wrote this column a couple hours ago. Vivek, rhymes with cake, Vivek Ramaswamy was preparing a town hall in Springfield. So he is literally an Asian in Springfield, one of the few. What's not really reported in most stories about Springfield is that Springfield is what America would look like without any of us. And by us, I mean Asian Americans specifically. But let's include all of us for the purposes of this program. Blacks, Hispanic, Native Americans. And you see that Springfield is the America before the 1965 Immigration Act. Before that act did away with the racist quotas that allowed Asians to America. Springfield is the America of 1924 and the immigration law that first established those racist quotas on Asians. And what is Springfield today? Population 58,082, according to the latest U.S. Census data. Get this. Here's the demographic. American Indian, 0.1%. Asian, 0.7%. Add our Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander group, 0.1%. All fractions less than a percent. I'm not talking about less than a percent of America. I'm talking about less than a percent in Springfield, Ohio. African American, 17.4%. Oh, normalcy. Hispanics, 4.9%. The white alone population is at 72.18%. Can you imagine 0.7% Asian in 2024? I mean, who does people's math homework in the high schools there? At our 0.1%, and even at 0.8%, Asian Americans are barely visible in Springfield. Barely any Asians there. But if there's no dog and cat eaten in Springfield, guess what? Springfield loves Asian food. Which brings us to the white egg roll. Now, on my internet search for the best Asian food in Springfield, there were at least 10 eateries on the list. One Filipino restaurant about 20 miles away, but I didn't count that. I'm only looking for Springfield. Unfortunately, when I called to ask what the restaurant owners thought of the Springfield story, they all hung up on me. Is that typical Asian? I said, I'm Emil. I'm in California. I write for Asian American publications. Click. One was very more courteous and said, I'm sorry, I don't comment. Click. I guess when you're 0.8%, then again, you'd think at 0.8%, they'd want to rock the boat a little bit. But what would a 0.8% people rocking all at the same time really feel like? Like nothing? The internet did serve up Charlo's Provisions and Eatery when I asked for Asian places to eat. Maybe because it has a popular egg roll. Chad Druckenbrod, 42, picked up the phone and said his egg roll is kind of Asian. I mean, it's on an egg roll wrapper, it's fried, but it's filled with brisket and roasted poblano pimento cheese. They're kind of southern egg rolls, Druckenbrod said. Just not southern China. Southern white. Druckenbrod's eatery is right there in the city's downtown. And he actually was lamenting how this weekend was supposed to be a cultural food fair for the city, with restaurants representing different parts of the world coming together, Latin restaurants, the Asian restaurants. You know, they have buffets, they got sushi. They are a little better than the towns that have come eat all the Asian food, you know, the Japanese, Chinese, Korean, Filipino, and all one place, Indian. When I lived in Dallas in the 80s, they actually had restaurants like that. They didn't have their own Indian or Chinese. They had, oh, we serve it all. Oh, it's got to be good. Very diverse. But you know, that food fair in Springfield for this weekend was canceled because of the fear of violence generated by the political lies. So Druckenbrod was talking to me about how he was watching them set up for that town hall by Ramaswamy, which was all set to capitalize on the fear. Druckenbrod said his restaurant has been affected by the bomb threats, but nothing dramatic. He said he still gets calls if they ask, of course, do you serve dog and cat? You know, stuff like that. Druckenbrod said, you know, it's illegal to serve that stuff in America. I serve pork chops and steaks. I do have catfish on the menu, he said. Druckenbrod said the town is better than people think. So there, this is from a Springfield citizen. It's better, he said. He added he was disappointed the cultural festival was canceled. Springfield's a very welcoming community, he said. You media, you're just interviewing the wrong people. Sure, the town has a neo-Nazi problem, but there's plenty of normal folk like Druckenbrod who just want to live their lives and get along with everyone. He said most people in town aren't affected by the Haitians. They're more worried about the price of groceries than they are about immigrants, he said. He believes the Haitians have helped the community more than hurt it. He said he mostly sees Haitians when they come to his restaurant as DoorDash drivers to pick up takeout food. Druckenbrod just wishes Trump and Vance never started the lies. But he doesn't think it's going to impact Springfield. If you drive around, there's nothing but Trump signs everywhere, he said. I asked him if Trump, Vance should just drop the lies. I mean, if they don't have their facts straight, then yeah, said the man with the best white egg rolls in town. You don't want to be out there spreading lies. But I asked him, will it change people's votes or his? And here, when you have a smooth conversation going and you have people stop and pause, he had a hard time answering. Call it good people stuck with bad leaders. They don't want to shame themselves, these good people, by saying they agree with the bad leaders. But what do? Meanwhile, all of us in places like California and New York where the Asian population is double digits. I mean, imagine they have 0.8% in Springfield, and America is like 6.5% Asian. California, New York, even more so. They've got 0.8% in Springfield. They don't know we exist, but they know our food exists. They don't eat cat and dog, but the Springfield folks eat Asian food, including Chad Druckenbrod's white people egg rolls. But they got a problem there. Good people stuck with bad leaders. And meanwhile, all of us in places like California and New York and Hawaii, Asian American places, will have to live with all their bad choices. So that's the column I wrote on the ALDEF blog, aaldef.org/blog. Check it out. I'm only going to be there for another week or so. I mean, the new columns. You'll have to catch the new columns in some other places where I publish. But I'm thinking of putting the new columns in a place like Substack or Patreon. If you have a preference, let me know. Send me an email. Put a post up. I mean, it's just a way to super serve you folks who show up. I could put it on Facebook, but, I notice a lot of people don't like to go to Facebook. I could just put it on Twitter. Nah. X. Nah. I think I'll put it on Substack. I'll give you a free option and I'll give you a paid option. I'll give you more. Like I may do this show on there, although I like doing it on YouTube. So we'll just have to see. But it's funny how when I talked to Druckenbrod, he's a white guy, right? Who owns a restaurant that showed up on the best Asian restaurants because he serves white people egg roll, which is a fried egg roll, but it's stuffed with brisket and poblano cheese. So it's kind of like I said, you sell a lot of those things? Well, we sell a lot of these. People like it crispy. Crispier the better. Anyway, Springfield, Ohio. As you come out of Columbus and head toward Dayton, you hit it. Or you can miss it entirely. And usually I just go from Columbus to Cincinnati, and then you've gone further to the west and south of Springfield. You've missed it. But he sounds like an awful lot of white people I know who don't want to say they agree with Trump, don't want to say they believe in the lie that Trump is putting out there, but they, hey, he's our liar. I'm sorry, he's our liar. Meanwhile, they can't just see that Trump-Vance campaign of lies, not a campaign of relevant truth. But you see how the lies get people emotional. Although the truth can be emotional. When I told you that the Asian Americans there in Springfield are only 0.8%, I mean, that's got to hit an emotional chord that says, oh my God, we don't even show up. We don't. Not in Springfield. But it's easier to hit that emotional chord with a lie, especially when it's about immigrants eating, if that's a lie, the lie and the slur, immigrants eating dog and cat, and now we're off to the races. Now you're agitated. Now you're ready to, them or fight. You're eating my dog, my American cat. That's why the story's not dropping. That's why Trump fans can't give it up, because they're married to the lie. They can't give it up. They must talk about it, because every time they talk about it, they advance the news cycle. More people hear their point of view. They don't get the rebuttal. And like I said, it's right out of the Hitler Goebbels playbook. Repeat a lie often enough, people believe it. People believe it to be true. Unfortunately, that is the state of the race. Meanwhile, Kamala Harris isn't perfect. She isn't perfect, but she's not a liar. She's not a liar. She's not a liar. Call her what you will. She may have a little different relationship to the truth, but she is not a liar. Not a liar. Anyway, check out my Springfield piece once again on the ALDEF blog, aaldef.org/blog. I want to talk about this story that was in the New York Times. You know, I covered the first half of the story where people weren't sure what to make of the numbers, affirmative action numbers, or the post affirmative action numbers at Harvard. Once they got rid of it because of the lawsuit that the Asian students filed, wrongheadedly, I might add, I said the numbers that showed that the Asian numbers were the same as with affirmative action, without, the same, 37%. I said it shows maybe they should have kept affirmative action. People who hate affirmative action says, hey, it shows we have diversity. No matter what, if we got the same, we have the same, you know, we have enough diversity from a program or from a plan that does not use race. Meanwhile, the people who filed the suit, Students for Fair Admissions, Ed Blum, the guy who corralled all those Asian Americans who were hurt, and Blum needed as his proxies for white victims. He had the perfect victims, Asians. He comes out the next day and said, or within a couple days of the Harvard numbers coming out, and says, well, wait a minute. The Asian numbers should be through the roof. If they're considering meritocracy and not race, and Asians are more qualified, those Asian numbers should be through the roof. But that's a mistaken sense, because people with 4.0s and perfect scores have been rejected from Harvard in the past. It's a matter of space and resources. I'm sorry, you don't get in. But I got straight A's. I'm sorry. But I got a perfect SAT. I'm sorry. So now Blum's not happy with that. Until the student population is just exploding with Asian Americans. Like 44%, 50%. I mean, it's at 37. It was 37 last year. He was expecting at least, we'll get a 7-point hit up. We'll probably be in the 40s. No, same thing. So this is from the New York Times. The group that successfully sued Harvard to end affirmative action in university admissions last year is now threatening to investigate whether schools are complying with the new rules and to file lawsuits if it believes they are not. That is just one litigious MF, you know? The group, Students for Fair Admissions, led by Edward Blum, has focused on 3 universities: Princeton, naughty Princeton, Yale, and Duke, where there were notable declines in Asian American enrollment this year compared with the last year, which the group said defied expectations. Princeton, Yale, and Duke, the Dukies, alma mater of Masked Singer, Ken, Dr. Ken, Yale, Princeton, they also saw declines. So students for fair admissions sent letters to the schools, and this is the future. The future is the winners who defeated affirmative action with this case. It went all the way up to the Supreme Court. They are not good winners. They are sore winners, and they want to see their speculation that the Asian numbers should be through the roof didn't happen. If you're dropping in Asians, something's wrong. You're not complying. You're going to get sued. Based on Students for Fair Admission's extensive experience, your racial numbers are not possible under true neutrality. The letter is signed by Edward Blum, the president for Students for Fair Admissions, not an Asian. It added, you are now on notice. Preserve all potentially relevant documents and communications. So that's it. And this really just showed how this whole thing, just the Full Employment Act for anti-affirmative action advocates like Ed Blum, is going to sue until he gets the numbers he wants. He's got the Supreme Court he wants. Now he just needs the numbers he wants. I think the point about what happens when you say, okay, we're not going to have race-based, you're still going to base your admissions on something. And just because someone has high test scores or near perfect test scores, if not perfect test scores, or just because someone has a 4.0 doesn't mean they're going to be automatic admits. Frustrating. This case is never going to go away. But Yale, Princeton, and Duke, they saw declines. Now they're being threatened with lawsuits. They've been put on notice. The fight to end affirmative action is not dead. They've got the advocates against affirmative action have the foot on the throats, and they do not like to see a writhing affirmative action gasping for air. They want to kill it right then and there. Not that easy. Not that easy. I don't think they'll ever see the kind of numbers they want. I just don't. I think they should be happy with the win they got. It's pretty impressive still. And only because they got the Supreme Court they needed. All right, just a few more things. Because, I had to do a lot of things this week. I went to, I saw my accountant. That's got to be a short visit. Yeah, we had a good laugh. But made me think about the tax system. The tax system is supposed to be progressive. Progressive means that everyone pays their fair share. And that means if you're richer, you pay more in taxes than poor people who pay less in taxes. A lot of people want taxes or the system to be simpler. So they say, let's just have a flat tax. No. You don't have flat taxes because flat taxes are regressive. When a rich person pays 10%, that is unfair to the poor person who has less money, who is asked to pay 10%. That's why we don't like regressive taxes, like the flat tax. So we have to deal with the progressive tax system that we have. The problem with the progressive tax system is we allow for loopholes. We allow for write-offs so that even though the rich in a progressive tax system would pay more, do they pay 30, 40, 50%? If they got a smart attorney, no, they pay next to nothing. Is it fair because they have access to the best accountants versus the poor working stiff? No, it's not fair. But that's the way it is in America. We need to have the regressive tax system because the truism is Republicans will always complain about taxes. They'll always complain about taxes. They just will. They just will. All right, one last thing on death. I know it's not death, but it's about healthcare. Boy, if you need to learn one thing as you get older, I mean, there's a number of studies out now showing how different things will impact your life, your health. New thing on drinking, showing that any amount of alcohol could be cancerous. I just I'm very thankful that I became vegan in my life, because when I go to the doctor and they ask me for, can I see your pill list? What do you take? I take one pill. I take finasteride for my hair. My hair is not sick. My hair just wants to go away sooner than it should. So I take finasteride and, hey, I got hair. It's my great wealth, right? So I just think that you got to take care of yourself, be preventative in your approach to health. That's the best measure. But do people ever? I mean, I got this sense when I went to the doctor this week. I still am mad at a lot of different agencies because they don't make the experience painless. It's hard. It's hard going to the doctor. It's hard it's easier if you're sick and you know exactly where to go. My mom was one of those chronically ill people. We'd bring her, she'd know everywhere to go. She'd know all the shortcuts. But if you don't know about parking at a place, that'll help destroy your experience with the doctor. It's just very sobering to know that the amount of stress that comes up in the visitation of a doctor is often more harmful to you than any disease that you can conjure up. Often, I said. I mean, look, I'm not saying that the communications protocols at some of these places is worse than cancer. That would be hyperbole. But for people not used to the system, it is a total drag. So stay well. I mean, that's my takeaway from visiting doctors this week. Stay well, stay healthy. It's within your power. It's just true. All right. I'm going to wrap it up here. As I said, I'm going to be a laughter yogi. Very excited about that. And look, and what I'll do is I will lead laughter exercises right here. Laughter exercises which are not dependent on telling each other the latest Trump joke or telling each other the latest Harris joke or whatever. It's not dependent on jokes. It's dependent on just breathing exercises and knowing how laughter is, how we elicit laughter in ourselves. From the belly, from the diaphragm. We breathe in deeply. We let that air go through. So it's like a low, hold the breath. Ha 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 ha. And you gotta laugh for at least a minute. Just a demonstration. Well, I know it seems kooky. It's real. If you laugh, even if you laugh alone, far more beneficial than you think. All right, we're going to come back tomorrow. Hey, thank you for being with me. Catch me on YouTube at Emil Amok1, youtube.com/ at Emil Amok1. On X, we are at Emil Amok. On Facebook, fb.com/ emilguillermo.media or fb.com/ emilguillermo. I think that'll get you to me. And that's it. Oh boy, Thursday. I'm looking forward to getting. Oh, here's the thing. Tomorrow I'll talk about Las Vegas. I'm going to Las Vegas next week. I'm going to be part of the World Series of Comedy. Jess is the bat boy, but I'm going to be there. I'm going to do maybe one, maybe 2 5-minute sets. I don't know. But I'm going to be there on Wednesday, and should be fun. I don't typically like Las Vegas, but we'll see. We'll see what Las Vegas holds for me. All right. I said I'm a laughter yogi, but I am certified in some processes of meditation, especially stand-up meditation. But I like to close each show with a little loving kindness. It just seems that we can use some of that. And so, as I wish for me, I wish for you. May you be safe. May you be happy. May you be healthy. And may you live with ease. Emil Guillermo here. Till next time, mahal.